Hello folks, Mr. Mac's Story. I spent my entire summer working on outboard motors, and now that the season has ended, it's time for me to get rid of all these motorcycles. You see I have a slew of motorcycle projects here that I need to fix up. I already went ahead and fixed and sold all the easy projects. And so now we're going to work on the ones that are going to be a little bit more work. Here we have two Yamaha Virago 700s, like an 85 and 86 if I recall. I got them both from the same guy, 300 bucks. The one on the left has a good title. And they're supposed to both be good motorcycles. They're supposed to both be, you know, good motors and rebuildable and all this shit. This one here has no title. So all yesterday I'm struggling with that black one. Carburetors and ignition, all kinds of shit. I just can't get it to run right, and finally I do a compression test. I got 140 and then I got 60 on the other cylinder. And I'm like, man, I don't know why I don't do these compression tests first thing. There's got to be a teachable lesson in there somewhere. Anyway, motor is coming out of this one. Tested this one, 130 on both cylinders, bitchin' motor, and it even looks better because it's not all painted shitty black. The motor's coming out of that one and going into this one. Now, I did a video a little while ago about how much I love the XJ bikes. It is the opposite for Viragos for me. They're always a pain in the ass. That whole starter motor gear clutch thing that's always failing on them, that's not a big deal. I don't really care about that. It takes like half an hour to fix. Not a big deal. But I don't know, they've just like never really been good luck for me. It's always been a struggle to get them going, struggle to keep them going. I know some people love them, whatever, all the power to you. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of cussing today, I imagine. Anyway, there's one good thing about them, and that is that they don't really have a bottom subframe. As you can see here, the frame stops right here and picks up again right here. It's almost as if the motor itself is part of the rigidness of the frame. So what I can do to drop this motor, it's going to be really super easy. Unbolt here, unbolt up in here, take this one out, and the whole thing just falls right down on the ground. So that's going to be cool. Before we get started, we're going to identify all the things that are connecting this motor to the motorcycle. So we have exhaust here. Big exhausts, they need to come off. We have obviously the motor mounts. Just talked about them. They need to come off. We have the carburetor, gas lines up to the gas tank, all this stuff, and it's got two sides to these. I think one of them's a real air filter and one of them's a fake air filter, but they got to come off. There's electricity into the motor via the spark plugs and the starter motor cable. That comes off. There's electricity out from the stator. That comes off. There's these little things like these highway bars and all this shit. That comes off. Over on this side of the bike, you've got the clutch cable, so that's going to be disconnected. And finally, you've got the other exhaust pipe. But then also, finally, you've got the drive shaft. And I gotta be honest, I'm not 100% sure how that's connected just yet, but we're gonna figure that out. Get this rubber boot out of the way and see if there's some bolts holding in there or whatever. Maybe we gotta take the whole drive shaft all the way back to pumpkin off, but I'm not sure about that yet. Anyway, it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna get her done. Let's get started on pulling that one before we start messing with this one. So I'd just like to reiterate that none of this really requires any special tools. I'm going to get most of this done with all you see here, maybe a long breaker bar or two, and then maybe a car jack to lift the motor up into the new bike. However, there's like nothing to it really. Alright, first thing we're going to do is go after these pipes. We got one pipe, we got this pipe in here, and once the pipes get out, then I'm going to get like this brake lever off. We're going to get these protective bars off and everything, and just sort of prepare the thing to fall down. Okay, so exhaust is off and loose, but it's looking like it's not coming out until I pull the motor. Have to remember that before I put the new motor back in. Hi, Kenton. Alrighty, let's go after these chrome things. Alright, got the crash bars off on the left side, and the shifter linkage came off with it. Awesome. Here we have our clutch cable. Feels like it's pretty strong, works pretty good, so I'm going to keep it with the bike, undo it right up there, and I'm sorry, keep it with the motor, undo it up at the top, and it can stay with the motor. So after that, we're going to go after these guys, just little clips, they unclip, your stator and ignition stuff. These motor mounts came out with the crash bars, so at least I have those out. Yep, and after that, well, I guess this has to come off, this kickstand bracket. After that, we're going to go after motor mounts. Now, I'm just making this up as I go along, fellas. Still not sure how the drive shaft attaches, but I have a feeling it's going to tell me once the motor starts to drop. So I'm going to gently start lowering down the motor after I have it all unbolted and see what lies behind this boot. And I will keep you guys posted. Well, that was easy. This bitch just fell right down. Wonderful success. I was going after these things. I thought I would have to take off this plate to get it off. But look at me. Just a couple of splines, and the splines are going to go into there. And it helped itself all the way down. Wonderful. Should have put that bolt back. Alright, I've got a couple more wires, but otherwise we are out. Too cool. Alright, let's do those wires, move this unit off to the side there, and then we're going after that one. Alrighty, great work. Everyone give yourselves a round of applause. Now we're going to go after this one. This one's a little bit more complete because I was just fucking with it. So it's still got its airboxes, still got its carburetors and all this shit. The carburetors were a bitch to wiggle in and out. I wonder if I could just keep them in there until the motor falls out. Anyway, tank's coming off. Those airboxes are coming off. We're getting our highway bar, crash bar things off. And just moving on through. Not going to be too difficult. Alright, that one fell down lickety-split. You can see I left the carburetors in there. That's cool. It's going to make it really easy to switch carburetors over into the new motor, then the motor goes up. I'm really not finding too many difficulties so far with this thing. Like I said, not having that bottom subframe really makes it easy to drop these motors. So, let's get cracking. Moving right along, I'm putting the carburetors onto the new motor. Got the boots on already. Here's the carburetors. This would be a very good time to clean the carburetors. However, I know that they're clean because I just did them. So, let's jam these things in, and then we can start thinking about putting the new motor in. Alright, so this is the plan I devised to get this thing back into the bike. Bike's lying down taking a nap. It's a heavy motor, man. It's heavy. But like this, I don't have to hold it up in the air or devise some kind of a hoisty thing in order to get at least the initial motor mounts in. My plan is to get the front motor mounts hooked up and then hopefully I can just sort of like swing it up and the drive shaft will just mate right up. And once I got that and the drive shaft in and sort of where it needs to be, all the rest is a piece of cake. And there we go. Couldn't have been easier. My wife's always saying that, Max, you need some friends, so you don't have to do this shit all on your own. I'm like, I don't need no stinking friends. There's a one-man band right here. Whew. Oh, shit. Alright. Gotta tighten up those motor mounts. And then comes a long process of just putting everything back together. One step I neglected to do was to disconnect the coils. And as you can see, all the coil wires got ripped out when the motor dropped. See that? Shame on me. So I got to put new connections in here and figure out where each one goes, etc. But then everything is going back together. Let's keep working. All right, good work. I've got a lot of the electrical hooked up as far as this side, being the brake light actuator thing, the starter solenoid, the starter cable, and all that. I have the exhaust hooked up. It's sort of loose, hanging loose right now in case I have to jiggle it a little bit, but next step is going to be tightening up all the motor mounts and then going on to the other side and working on that, shift linkage and shit like that. So right now I'm going to break for lunch. Camera needs new batteries. I will see you guys in half an hour. Moving right along, we got the foot pegs and crash bars done on both sides. I have all the motor mounts all squared away. Oh, except for that one. There's always one more. I have the linkage, the cables set up for the carburetor. I'm going to put that motor mount in. I'm going to put the rear foot pegs on and the brake lever. Let's see. I'm going to put these guys on, and I need to sort out the wiring that I fucked up for the ignition coils. You guys, it's almost starting to look like a motorcycle again. Just about everything is all back together. Put a tank and a seat on it, and if it runs, then it's good to go. Well, headlight too. I can't wait any longer. Let's try and torture this thing to life. Well, it's got the old box of rocks starter thing, which, like I said, is not really that big of a deal as far as a repair. However, just got it to fire. Let's try and do it again. Not half bad. Good start. Well, that's enough work for today. I'm very pleased with the outcome. It's looking pretty good. Still have a couple more things to do. Gotta get a battery and whatnot, and a little bit more detail work. But good bike. Good, nice low mileage bike. It's gonna be back on the streets in no time. Thanks for watching.